I'm Linda from Rishton. And I'm working my stretcher! Yay!
I'm Rosie from Rishton with a fish pot.
And he's Phil from Rishton, he's a bigger fish pot.
And I'm a lorry driver.
I'm Paul from Rishton, I work for a wanker.
I'm Phil from Rishton and work for the same person.
I'm Dave from Rishton.
Where do you
Well,
work?
you're in Rochdale, it's bloody miles away.
I'm Mary from Rishton, I'm a
Trevor from Rishton from RS.
And finally,
Get a monster.
The first little workman's.
Hey, I'm written that on here. Must answer.
You don't write your name on it.
The guy bought for the sell off.
You want a bet? Who's at 10?
right, as you know, we start with the player first alphabetically, and that will be Dave. You're going to start, we're going to have 3 minutes. Where is it, timekeeper? Where's he gone? You haven't got a watch? Here you are.
I've got one, but I didn't get any instructions with it, so I don't know how it works.
Bought me off first.
He's got a watch now.
I need to get to buy.
Yeah, brought me off first. Keep Trevor on.
Right,
Right, Dave.
let's start the clock and play the weakest link. Linda, which film actor was called the Muscles from Brussels?
This one down.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
How could it be Dave started? How could he start?
Oh, sorry.
Alright.
I'll start again, Dave.
They can't have his same question, you know that answer.
Right, Dave, what is the currency of both North and South Korea?
Dunk.
No, the one. Mary, for what did George Stephenson receive a public testimonial of £100?
Railway thing.
No, his safety lamp. Trevor, on TV, who partnered Piggy Malone in his investigations?
Charlie Farley.
Correct. Paul, which musical instrument is a national emblem of Ireland?
Or
Correct. Linda, what is the capital of Spain?
Tenerife.
Madrid. Graham, in which sport do we talk about a half Nelson? Correct. Phil, in which European city is the Colosseum? Correct. Paul, how many faces has a cube?
6.
Correct. Phil,
Bank.
what are dried in an oast house? Hops. Dave, in which group of islands is Tenerife?
Tenerife.
Correct. Mary, which English king was known as the Lionheart? Richard who? Incorrect. Richard the First. Trevor, which fruit is dried to produce raisins?
Bruce.
Grapes. Paul, how many sides has a rhombus?
8.
4. Linda, who was the masked hero helped by Tonto?
Lone Ranger.
Correct. Graham, what is the capital of Switzerland? Correct. Phil, what would you lock up in a tantalus? Wine decanters. Paul, which team game begins with a face-off?
Ice hockey.
Correct. Phil, which smoked fish is called a kipper? Correct. Dave, what do we call a young seal? A pup. Mary, who led the Saxons at the Battle of Hastings?
Come on.
Correct. Trevor, in which town can you see the Bayeux Tapestry? Bayeux. Paul, from which country does the Paso Doble dance come?
Brazil.
Incorrect. Spain. Linda, in which country is the holiday resort of Bournemouth?
Shropshire.
Dorset. Graham, which two comedians wrote and sang the song Underneath the Arches? Correct. Phil, from which country does the drink sake come? Correct. Time's up. Time to vote off who you think is the weakest link. Linda, who do you think? You cannot vote for yourself. Graham, who do you think is the weakest link? Paul, Phil, Mary. Mary. Paul, right. Paul, which Paul? Paul Burns. Mary. Linda. Trevor? You got 2 right. Statistically, the strongest link was Rosie. We'd quite a few who got 2 wrong, but unfortunately, we have a tie.
Excuse me, could you have the correct name for this evening?
Sorry, Graham. We have a tie. Paul has 2 votes. And Mary has 2 votes. Paul B. So Graham, seeing as you are the strongest link, you decide. No, you are the strongest link, you decide.
Goodbye, Paul.
Goodbye, Paul.
Statistically, I am the weakest
It is-
link. Hey, give us a bite. Hey, whoa, give us a bite.
We are now going to take 10 seconds. Let's play the weakest link. Graham, what would you expect to find in a bandbox? A hat. Phil, which sport has its headquarters at Newmarket?
Racing.
What type of racing?
Horse racing.
Thank you. Philip, what 2 colours are there on the Polish flag?
Red and white.
Correct. Dave, who was King of England when Guy Fawkes tried to blow up Parliament?
James.
James who? Harriet?
First of England, James.
Correct. Mary, how many sides has a trapezium? Correct. Trevor,
Mike.
which town is the capital of the Isle of Man?
Douglas.
You want to tell him. Paul, who is the mother of Lady Sarah Armstrong-Jones?
Armstrong Jones. Margaret.
Margaret who? Thatcher?
Just Margaret.
Correct. Linda, what are the 5 lines called on which music is written? A stave or a staff? Graham, which novelist created the detective Miss Marple? Agatha Christie. Philip, what is measured in amperes?
In what?
Amperes.
Electricity.
Electrical current. I'll accept your answer.
Bank.
Phil, what do we call a period of play in a polo? A chukker.
Chocker.
David, of which country is Baghdad the capital?
Iraq.
Correct. Mary, according to the nursery rhyme, around what kind of bush should we go on a cold and frosty morning? Correct. Trevor, if you add together a century and a gross, what do you get?
120.
Try 244. Paul, who wrote the play Measure for Measure? Who wrote the play Measure for Measure? William Shakespeare. Linda, what is the unit of currency in the Republic of Ireland?
Punt.
A punt. I can hear these answers being passed around. Graham, what would you expect to find in a cruet?
Oh, salt and pepper.
I have to accept your first answer. You are wrong.
The weakest link.
Phil, how many yards in a chain?
22.
Not you that's doing marking, Phil. Philip, how many edges are there around a 20p coin? 7. David, the sign of the zodiac of Cancer is also known as the sign of the... Correct. Mary, what kind of weapon is associated with the name Winchester? I cannot accept your answer. We are out of time. Mary, keep them held up, please. Trevor. Mary's upside down. Paul right. Linda. Trevor. Paul. Linda. Statistically, the weakest link in that round was Graham Rowe, having been the strongest link in the round before. Keep your cards up so we can actually see who you have voted off. Well, Linda, you have been voted the weakest link. Goodbye.
Hey, I'm not playing this again. I've only had a fight.
The back's there, we're standing up, man. Hey, I'm on there. This tossing it.
Well, team, with 7 players left, another 10 seconds to be taken off the clock. You have a wonderful total of
340.
340 points. You haven't even reached £25, team. Have we lost a player? No, is he back?
Excuse me, can I just ask about how does this real work with banking?
Well, when it's your turn to answer a question, if you say bank before you answer your question, that money will be banked.
Before you ask the question.
As I come to you to ask the question, if you say bank straight away, the money that has been accumulated will be banked. Right, team. Starting with the strongest link from the last round. I think we had 3 of them, didn't we? So we'll start with Dave because he's first alphabetically.
It's daftness, just in case you're interested. With your glasses, you don't buy your pen. I'll fill them, don't worry about that.
10 seconds off the clock. Start the clock, let's play the weakest link. Dave, which Scottish king defeated the English at Bannockburn?
Robert Bruce.
Correct. Mary, what do KLM, TWA and Pan Am have in common? They're all airlines, correct. Trevor, which tree is associated with the Lebanon?
Oh, I know that, Trevor.
It's the cedar tree. Paul, which sport is played by the Wasps?
Who?
Which sport is played by the Wasps?
Rugby.
Rugby what?
Rugby union.
Correct. Graham, from what is sauerkraut made? Cabbage is correct. Phil, in children's fiction, what is the name of the scarecrow of Scatterbrook?
Dunno.
Wurzel Gummidge. Phil, in which sport would you use an épée?
Fencing.
Correct. Dave, what do we call a young goose? A gosling, but I think you heard it from the audience. Mary, with what do you play a vibraphone? With small hammers. Trevor, in swimming, which is generally the fastest stroke? Which sort of crawl? Correct. Paul, from what is a Pontefract cake made?
Spanish.
Licorice, I'll accept Spanish. Graham, by what nickname is a Boeing 747 generally known? Correct. Phil, in which sport is Peter Allis famous?
Golf.
Thank you for telling him. That's the correct answer.
Bang.
Phil, what is the date of the Queen's actual birthday?
Pass.
21st of April. David, what was the surname of the composer whose first names were Johann Sebastian Bach? Mary, which legendary animal is like a white horse with a single horn? Correct. Trevor, if a river is said to be meandering, what is it doing? Winding. Paul, to which section of an orchestra does the tuba belong?
Wind.
No, I haven't got wind, it's brass. Graham, which is the highest British mountain? British mountain is Ben Nevis. Listen to the questions, please. Philip, what precious stone denotes your 40th wedding anniversary? What precious stone denotes your 40th wedding anniversary? Correct. Phil, time's up. I cannot ask the next question. Time to vote off who you think is the weakest link. Who is halting your progress? Voting over. Time to reveal who you think is the weakest link. Trevor. Paul Wright. Paul Wright. Paul, right. Phil, Dave, Graham.
Hey, knob off, you. Jolly, jolly. I owe one. Jolly, jolly.
We have 3 people tying to be the strongest link, but if you'll hold up your posters, it looks like statistically it wasn't Paul Wright, but you have voted Paul as the weakest link. Goodbye, Paul.
Bloody hell, you jelly bastard. I'm going to put top back on pen. He's putting match of the day.
We'll start off again alphabetically with Dave, who was one of the strongest links. We shall take another 10 seconds off the clock.
Can you tell us when we're down to 30 seconds?
2:20.
Well, Phil will shout when you're down to 30 seconds.
Eh? No. Do you not want to know, do you? 2:20. But
In the last round, team, you banked 220 points, with a total now of
560.
500, a miserable 560 points. You aren't even up to £25 in prize money. Pay attention, team, when the questions are asked. Starting with the strongest link alphabetically in the last round, let's play the weakest link. Dave, how many old pence were there in a pound?
240.
Correct. Mary, which English county is known as the Garden of England? Correct. Trevor, what sort of creature is an anaconda? Correct. Graham, which land measure is equal to 4,840 square yards? Correct.
Bank.
Phil, name the second letter of the Greek alphabet.
Beta.
Correct. Phil, which substance is used to make bread rise? Correct. Dave, what is the name for a boat made of logs tied together?
Raft.
Correct. Mary, which body organ secretes bile? Correct. Trevor, the Taj Mahal can be found in which Indian city?
No idea.
Agra. Graham, in Britain we call it a lift. What do the Americans call it? No, an elevator. Phil, what is the name? It isn't the same. What is the name of the country formerly known as Persia?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, what is the name of the country formerly known as Persia? Correct. Philip, a bicycle made for 2 is known as a what?
Tandem.
Correct. Dave, in Parliament, what colour are the benches on which the MPs sit?
Blue.
No, they're red. Mary, which institution has the nickname Auntie? The BBC. Trevor,
Why?
which is the largest of the United States of America?
No idea.
Alaska. Seems drinks more important. Graham,
Correct.
an elephant tusk is made from which substance? And glow.
Artichoke.
Correct. Mary, in the 1913 Derby, a suffragette was trampled to death by the King's horse. What was her name? No, Emily Davison. Trevor, where would a beaver live?
Water.
In a lodge. Graham, Sharon Gless starred in which TV cop series?
How banked twice.
Which film?
You've banked 6 times.
Statistically, Phil Howarth was the strongest link. But let's see who you voted for. Voting time over. Time to reveal who you think is the weakest link. Trevor.
Statistically, Trevor.
Graham's Trevor. Dave, why Trevor? Has he upset you tonight? Do you not like the colour of his shirt?
Don't start getting bloody off.
But why Trevor?
I don't think you're getting
How many questions did you get right in that round?
One more than me.
Correct. No, he got 2 more than you.
Well, there you go. It's very
Well, statistically, Trevor was the weakest link. You all agreed with the statistics. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Something like that.
No wonder I'm in it. Does bloody football all the time.
Right, team, there are 5 of you left. With an amazing, how many points in the bank?
850.
8? Correct. Dave, what is the lowest British hereditary title?
Earl.
Baronet. Mary, Bacchus is the god of what? Wine. Graham, what is the capital of Norway? Correct. Phil, the lira is the currency of which country?
Italy.
Correct. Philip, who presents the quiz show 15 to 1? Correct. Dave, in culinary terms, what is gazpacho?
It's an Italian soup.
No, it's a Spanish soup and it's cold. Mary, which football club plays its home matches at White Hart Lane? Tottenham Hotspurs, we'll accept that. Graham, what is a somnambulist? A somnambulist. It's a sleepwalker. Perhaps that's what you're doing now. Philip, what does the acronym PAYE stand for? What does the acronym PAYE stand for? Pay as you earn. Philip, by what name is white gypsum more commonly known? Alabaster. Dave, is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable?
It's a fruit.
Thank goodness you're not a vegetable. Mary, a gaucho is a what? A gaucho. He's a South American cowboy. I will accept cowboy. Graham, how many players are there in a cricket team? Correct. Philip, what is a besom or a besom?
Brush. And then one with twigs.
A broom of twigs. I will accept that. Philip, what is the square root of 144?
12.
Correct. Dave, who sculpted the thinker?
Gordon.
Correct. Mary, in what year did Elvis Presley die? 1977. Graham, in the nursery rhyme, Lucy Lockett lost her pocket, but who found it? Kitty Fisher. Time is up. Answer the questions asked. Right, team, time to vote off who you think is the weakest link.
How much of this? 320.
Oh, well, a little better, team. You scored £320.
You should take a photograph of him. Look at his hair.
Right, Graham, who do you think? Phil Williams. Phil, who do you think? Graham, Rose. Don't you like each other? Right, team, there are just 4 of you left. We're going to take another 10 seconds off the clock. Where are you going? Right, team, statistically, Phil Howarth, you were the strongest link, so we will start with you. Let's see if you can get some extra points and get the money up over £25. Philip, let's start the clock and play the weakest link. Who was captain of Jules Verne's Nautilus? Captain Nemo. Dave, which range of mountains extends from Morocco to Tunisia? The Atlas Mountains. Mary, what first name was given to the Dickensian character Scrooge? Correct, Mary. Phil, what name was given to the biblical Tower of Languages? Tower of Babel. Phil, what is 20% of 200? 40. Dave, in the underworld there is reputedly a river. What is its name? No, River Styx. Mary, what does the acronym SOCO stand for? Scenes of Crimes Officer. Philip, who designed St Paul's Cathedral? Correct. Phil, which 2 brothers played for England in the 1966 World Cup? Names?
Bobby Charlton and Jackie Charlton.
Correct. Dave, when is All Saints Day?
31st of October.
Incorrect, the 1st of November. Mary, what was Percy Shaw's contribution to road safety?
Cat's eyes.
Correct. Phil, how many humps has a Bactrian camel? 1 or 2?
2.
Correct.
Bang.
Philip, what is the chemical symbol for lead?
PB.
Correct. Dave, campanology is the art of what? Correct. Mary, which poet wrote Ode to a Nightingale?
Wordsworth.
John Keats. Phil, which actor played the part of Selwyn Froggatt?
That's
Bill Maynard. Philip, how many legs has a lobster?
8.
10. Dave, methane is another name for what?
Marsh gas.
Correct. Mary, what was the dog called in the TV series Heart to Heart?
Pass, I forgot.
Freeway. Phil, Havana is the capital of which country?
Cuba.
Time's up. Unfortunately, your banking will not be accepted. Right team, time to vote. Bill Williams was the strongest link in that round. The weakest link was Dave.
Hey, bloody hell.
Again.
I'll go next time then.
That's 2 rounds now that you've been the weakest link. Obviously, the team aren't noticing. As we go into round 7,
Get yourself another baby.
well team, you have 990 points. Let's see if you can take it over the 1,000 to make the prize money worth playing for. We're down to 3 players. The strongest link has been voted off. So we're going to go with the second strongest link, Phil, who was Phil Howarth. Let's see if you can take your points up to over that £1,000. Let's start the clock and play the weakest link. Phil, at what sport did Mick the Miller excel?
Wrestling.
Greyhound racing. Dave, name the Mexican dish that is made up of chopped meat in a stew with kidney beans and red chilies.
Chili con carne.
Correct. Mary, what is copperplate? A form of handwriting, decorative handwriting. Phil, at what age did Adrian Mole write his secret diaries? Correct. Dave, which island lies at the toe of the boot?
Sicily.
Thank you, whoever's helping in the audience. Mary, which famous artist was born in Malaga? Pablo Picasso. Philip, what is the largest planet in the solar system? Correct. Who was Dave, who was Luke Skywalker's opponent in Star Wars?
Darth Vader.
Shows your mentality. Mary, which religious faith claims almost 1/4 of the world's population? Christianity. Philip, what nationality was the artist Rembrandt? He was Dutch. Dave, what are 9 9s?
81.
Correct. Mary, what is another name for a lexicon?
A little Irishman that's pissed.
A dictionary. Philip, what Dickens novel features Mr. Micawber? David Copperfield. Dave, on what do whales feed?
Plankton.
Correct. Mary, what is the only animal to sleep on its back? Man. Phil, who said let them eat cake? Marie Antoinette. Dave, what is the principal nerve in the human body?
Brain.
The spinal cord. Mary, which fruit is used to make the drink kirsch?
Cherries.
Correct. Phil,
Hey, got that.
time is up. Can we accept that bank? We will accept that bank. Now, team, which one is seriously hindering your chances to make money? Time to vote off who you think is the weakest link.
Phil's the one here.
Mary. Mary. Why Mary, Phil? Is it because she's a female?
Yeah, and
Mary banks the money.
I banked it earlier on.
But statistically, Mary, you were the weakest link. Goodbye.
Put all my money. I couldn't get that dictionary out, so I put it in.
Round 8 players. There are just 2 of you left. And you have a chance to treble your points that are banked in this round. You have a total at the moment of 1,100 points we're up to, taking home prize money of £50.
Go on, Phil.
But you can treble your points. You will play for just 90 seconds. We're waiting for the timekeeper. Right, consensus of opinion is, audience, that the team would like to take a break.
No.
No!
Make him stop there and give him a bucket.
Hold on then.
Make him, give him a
That's not
bucket.
my pocket, that's my pool table.
We'll take a break and we'll have some supper and we will come back to play this round where you can treble your points and then play the head-to-head game. No swatting up, team, whilst you take your break. Right, give them a round of applause. Even though they've only scored a miserable 1,100 points.
Flora alone, she knows how to sell papers.
I'll double an ultimate snooker.
If anybody tells them a question, they're disqualified.
Do you mean an answer?
Oh, yeah. If anybody tells them an answer, they're disqualified.
Right, team, you have... Where's our timekeeper?
Is that still at the bar?
It's Phil. Come on. You will have 90 seconds. You will be able to treble the points banked. I will treble the points you bank.
Oh, not a bank already in bank.
No, just in this particular round. You have 1,100 points at the moment, which is putting the prize money at £50. One of you will take home that £50. One of you will leave with nothing.
Hey, and and don't forget, all those poor lads that sat down here got you to this money.
Start the clock. Let's play the weakest link. We will start with the strongest link in the last round, which was Dave.
Should be drinks all round.
Which MP has won 2 Oscars? Glenda Jackson. Phil. Which comedian was known as the Rochdale Cowboy? Mike Harding. Dave. According to the proverb, what is the mother of invention?
Necessity.
Correct. Phil. What is a filbert?
City.
It's not a knot. You can't hear him whispering. It's a nut. Dave. How many players are there in a baseball team?
8.
9. Philip. What was the capital of Russia before Moscow? St. Petersburg. Dave. Captain Pugwash captained which ship?
Blackpink.
Thank you, audience. I'd ask you to keep quiet. Phil. Which school did Billy Bunter attend? Correct. Dave. What is the name of the cartoon character Andy Capp's wife? I'll accept Flo. Her real name is Florrie.
Bank it.
Phil, how many pounds are there in 1 stone? 14. Dave, what is the main currency used in Belgium?
Frank, Belgian franc.
Correct.
Bank.
Phil, where is the Sea of Tranquility? Moon to you too. Dave, is an invertebrate a creature with or without a backbone?
Without a back.
Correct. Phil, which car manufacturer do you associate? I cannot complete the question. At the end of that round,
Why can you not read it?
you have scored. Time was up. How much have they scored, Ruth?
140.
An amazing 140 points. That is the trebled amount, I presume. No? Oh, I do beg your pardon. We're going to treble the 140 points.
420.
420 added to 1100. Thank you very much. Pity you weren't as good at the questions.
He's never watched it, hasn't he? I don't know what she's like.
Right, we will go into the head-to-head.
Right, can I stick one on in there?
The strongest link at the end of that round was you, Dave, amazingly. Absolutely amazingly. You may choose whether you go first or second. You will be asked 5 questions each. If at the end of that 5 questions we still don't have a winner, we will carry on until sudden death.
Right, what, all 5 at once?
No, alternate questions.
Oh, I don't bloody know, do I? You're not right good at explaining rules, are you?
Try watching television at tea time.
Instead of playing on the computer.
Jobs like you, then, also we can watch it at bloody tea time.
Right, Dave has decided he will go first. No help, audience. This is for serious money. £50 to be won. One of you will win the £50. One of you will go away with nothing.
We had that before we started last round. Does that mean we've done all that for now?
No. You actually trebled your points, miserable as they were.
What are you playing for?
£50.
Mine's a lager, Brian.
Why did I nominate you, Dave?
Right, David.
Yeah, why, Mary?
The Day of Atonement is a day of fasting and prayer for Jews. By what Hebrew name is it better known?
Yahweh?
No, that is incorrect. The correct answer is Yom Kippur. Philip, by what nickname was Francis Duvalier, dictator of Haiti, until 1971 better known? The answer is Papa Doc. Dave, what is the capital of Cyprus?
Nicosia.
Correct. Philip, on which river is the Aswan Dam?
Say it again, please.
On which river is the Aswan Dam? It's on the Nile. That is the incorrect answer. Dave, who composed The Flight of the Bumblebee? Incorrect. The correct answer is Rimsky-Korsakov. Phil, who was the Queen of the Fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream?
You don't know that.
Brian says.
The correct answer is Titania or Titania. Question 4, Dave. Who wrote The Railway Children?
Mary knows that.
The correct answer is Edith Nesbit.
Yeah.
Philip, who wrote Sons and Lovers?
I don't know that.
D.H. Lawrence. How do the scores stand going into the 5th and final question? If you answer this question correctly, you will leave with £50.
Make it an easy one then.
Who first recorded Never Can Say Goodbye? That is the correct answer. Phil, you leave with nothing. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Hold on, Phil.
If you've enjoyed tonight, my name's Anne Robinson. And if you haven't, I'm Liz Mitton. Goodbye.
Well,
I think that was absolutely fantastic.
Paul, how did it feel to be voted off? Like,
Those are your bastards.
another Paul, how did you feel when you were voted off the weakest link?
Oh, bloody ground I was grinding. Don't look at me like that. What's why you voting me off? They voted me off.
Trevor, how did it feel to be voted off as
Like
the
he feels
weakest
now, he wants
link?
another drink.
Like I feel now, I want another drink.
Graham, how did it feel to be voted off as the weakest link?
Charity were gutted. Well, I just can't say.
Why is that? Frightened of upsetting somebody?
Words for once.
Frightened of upsetting somebody?
No? Because I'll be quite honest with you, because they're all fake bastards, and I'd have won it if they hadn't voted me off.
Phil, how did it feel to leave with nothing?
Right.
Linda, how did you feel being voted off the weakest link? Well, I thought I was good. Thank you all for taking part.
You didn't ask me.
I'm sorry, Mary. How did it feel to be voted off as link? Crap.
I told them all the answers when it comes to their shop.
Pity you didn't know the answers of your own questions.
Hey!
I'm just going to give him his money.
Hey, Rose! Rose, your head's always around there.
You said you were going.